What the heck? Oftentimes, there can be limited deer activity during the daytime in the early part of the season. This is probably because they've already grown their winter coat and it's simply too warm when the daytime temperatures are high. That's why the Growing Deer crew constantly watches the weather and gets excited when a cold front is forecast during the early season. Last week, we shared the results of Jerry and Aaron, pro staffers out in Kansas, taking advantage of a cold front, pushing a mature buck to his feet during daylight hours.
Let's do it, buddy.
To be clear, we're not talking about a cold front that causes a blizzard during October. We're simply talking about a 10% or more decrease in temperatures from normal. As the cold front was passing the proving grounds, Matt Dye and I loaded up the truck and headed to a stand we call Big Oak.
GrowingDeer.tv is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops, also by Reconics, Trophy Rock, Eagle Seed, Nikon, Winchester, Scentmaster, Dead Downwind, Antler Dirt, Lacrosse Footwear, Whitetail Properties, Blood Sport Arrows, Outdoor Edge Knife, Flatwood Natives, Morel Targets, Caldwell, Hooks Custom Calls, Montana Decoy, Summit Tree Stands, Drake Non-Typical Clothing, House Lubricator Products, LEM Game Processing, G5 Broadheads, Prime Bows, Redneck Hunting Blinds.
We called this stand the Big Oak, and you may recall several years ago I took a buck called Clean 12 out of this exact stand. That was a morning hunt. This is an afternoon hunt. We're basically using it like a staging area. They bed over on the north slope when it's warm like this, warmer anyway. Large group of white oaks up the ridge about 100 yards. We're in between, cutting them off, just like a staging area. She may make it over this big tree. That's a good nanny there.
We hadn't been in a stand long when Matt noticed deer movement over his left shoulder.
Come down the path to the freezer.
As Matt and I watched the deer, it was obvious the doe was studying the area and making sure it was safe before she approached our stand.
We got just a slight crosswind. It might be enough for her to get in here.
We've shared in the past how we typically weed eat and or blow lines to our stand. That allows us to go in and leave less scent. That vegetation is porous and it's likely to hold more scent than the soil or rocks that are in the area. Even with that precaution, Matt and I were somewhat amazed that this mature doe came exactly up that trail right where we had walked minutes earlier and showed no signs of detecting our scent. As the doe approached, got within my effective range and turned broadside, I pulled back the bow and prepared for the shot. As I was preparing for the shot, the doe took a step or two and is now facing directly at me. There's nothing I could do but hold the bow at full draw. I knew better than to hold the bow so long I'd be shaking and couldn't make the shot. So I made the tough decision and let the bow down. Fortunately, the doe ended up taking a few steps closer to our stand and finally turned broadside.
Perfect. I mean perfect. Stay on her. Yeah, that's good. She's going down. No, she won't go far. It's perfect. Watch where she runs.
I still get doe fever, so I was a little excited after the shot. But once I calmed down, Matt and I discussed all the events that led up to putting venison in our freezer.
Stunning. Our wind. Where's your squirt bottle? We had just enough of crosswind 20 yards. It's not just getting a stand in the woods. It's getting a stand that your approach, hunt, and exit allows you not to disturb deer. So we got in here, walked right up that trail, exactly where the deer come in. They never had a clue where in the world.
I believe that all the steps we go through, treating our clothes, storing them in the scent master, everything we do to limit the scent on the stand, save that hunt.
Yeah. Bright red blood the whole way, and of course Cyril's clean. There, really good right here. Yeah, right here.
We were a bit surprised as we crossed the hill where we last saw the doe and then see her piled up a few yards on the other side. With the temperatures forecast to be plenty cool, we decided to back out and pick up the trail in the morning. In Missouri, you can use a dog to recover a deer if you do 3 things. First, you must notify and get permission from a local conservation officer. The dog must remain on a leash, and you can't have any weapons present.
Sit.
We put Crystal on the trail, and within 15 minutes, she had found a deer.
Good job, Crystal. You got it, baby. Good going. Good job. Good job. Good job, girl.
That hole doesn't look bad at all.
No.
The doe was approximately 50 yards past where Matt and I'd stopped the night before. These experiences are always great reminders to me at how superior a dog or deer's nose is to human senses. What took us hours took Crystal 15 minutes. I'm always very anxious to put my hands on a deer and see exactly where the shot occurred. In my mind, out a tree, I thought it was about a perfect shot. But now that I have it in hand and I'm able to look at it, I notice I'm maybe an inch or 2 behind where the shoulder would be, and that's okay. And I was just a tad high. It looks like it's about halfway through the deer, but remember, the spinal column is about right here. I really should have been down 4 inches or so. I've turned the doe around, and this is the exit wound. Again, pretty good location behind the shoulder. Could have been a little tighter, but the entrance should have been there, and the exit about here. The lower you are, the easier it is for blood to come out of the cavity. And when that blood stays in the cavity, it's obviously not going out on the ground and makes trailing much tougher. Once I got inside, I noticed a few acorns and other stomach matter up by the lungs. That's simply an indication that the arrow was high enough, it hit the esophagus.
I've seen it on CSI, so.
I saw it on Mythbusters.
How you doing? Boom.
Doing a little CSI stuff this morning. We put the arrow back in the entry and exit. Clearly it went through both lungs, and we're all amazed this doe made it 250 yards down the mountain. Matt and I weren't the only ones to take advantage of the passing cold front. Chase and Seth headed out earlier this week to take advantage of the same front. Like us, Chase and Seth had noticed a big change in deer behavior during the last couple of weeks. When the season first opened, deer were feeding heavily in food plots. But once the acorns started falling, deer more or less abandoned food plots and are feeding in the timber. Knowing this, Chase and Seth headed into the timber to hunt a stand near acorns. They knew several deer were using acorns in that area, including a couple of nice bucks, but they weren't going to hesitate to tag a doe.
Well, it's October 2nd. I just hung this set today. Seth doesn't like to set these stands the same day. He says it's not good, but we're going after it anyway. We got a good stiff breeze, so I don't think they hurt me in here today.
As the sun sank on the horizon, they heard footsteps approaching the stand. It looked like a great shot, but they decided to sneak out of the area and come back later and pick up the trail.
Jump, bend down and jump. 1, 2, 3.
In addition, it gave the guys some extra time to get some help with the blood trailing job. It's always great to get kids involved in such activities. Not only does everyone have a lot of fun, but there's a lot of lessons that can be learned.
Yeah, and it stinks too.
That's because it may came out a little far back. We don't know.
I think it did. Yeah, it did.
Did it?
Yeah.
Smell like it?
Uh-huh.
Man, it looks smoked on the...
Oh. There she is. There she
There
is.
she is. She must have been more of an angle than what we thought.
Dad, is she bigger than mine though? Can I take this to school for show and tell?
They might frown upon that.
What does that mean?
They wouldn't like it.
I don't know. Did you wipe blood on your face?
Yeah.
Did you wipe blood on your face? First deer of the 2015 season. It's the first deer I've shot with the Havoc, and it did its job. We're only 30 yards from the tree stand. We're excited. We're hoping this gets the ball rolling for the rest of the season.
You skinned it, Chase. Well, my dad killed October 2nd. And he okay, can we redo that?
You guys kind of hold
Yeah, you gotta cut it.
hold it center.
We're families.
It looked like a great hunt for Chase and Seth, and I'm very confident they'll be sharing more hunts with us soon. Even though it's hunting season, we're still working on some habitat improvement projects.
One of the projects we have going on today is controlling some of our stump sprouts in our bedding areas. You can see back behind me we have a lot of young growth, a lot of stump sprouts from oaks. They're probably over 100 years old. Those root systems are still there. So we're going to do things a little different than we usually do with the fire. We're going to come in with some herbicide. Hopefully we can control it. Crew's just now rolling up the hill. Basically the edge is right here. This last big oak.
Recently, we decided to test a technique that's commonly used in pine management in the South and apply it to the hardwood forest here in the Ozark Mountains.
Right in one of our bedding areas today, trying to control some stump sprouts. We can see we got a great example of one behind us. This was a big oak tree that got cut years ago. Of course, there's a massive root system, so there's stump sprouts coming back. And we've been setting them back for years, but we've never effectively killed them with an RX fire. So the only way we can kill it is by using a herbicide. Unfortunately, these stump sprouts don't provide as much forage or cover for the wildlife like this native grass or the native forbs in the area will. Therefore, we're trying to control it, bring in more grass and forbs. Cut, we burn it, kill it off, stump sprout back. Just, yeah, name of the game for us.
Good learning.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Good learning tool.
Don't ever cut something unless you plan on treating it. Make no mistake, we love burning. We burned it last year. Of course, we had great growing conditions, and once you get out there, you'll see how thick the grass is. So another year of that, it should just rip.
Many of these stump sprouts are 50 to 70 years old and have been burned or cut through time but grew back. So there's a large feeder root system, and we simply can't burn hot enough in a safe environment to control those sprouts. Both Garlon 3A and Imazapyr are herbicides that have been tested very safe by the EPA and literally used on millions of acres throughout the southern pine lands. In fact, many studies have shown plants that are more beneficial to wildlife responding after these herbicide treatments. Oftentimes, forestry herbicides are taken in and moved down to the root system as their mode of action. So you don't get instant brownup like you would using Roundup or other types of herbicides. We will follow this study throughout next spring and see if the stump sprouts green up or in fact we got good control. It's a big job to treat all the stump sprouts in an 11-acre bedding area, especially when it's on the steep side of a mountain. But we were able to use RTP contracting and they knocked out that treatment in a day. I really like the technique used by the RTP contracting crew. Each man carried a small backpack sprayer and only treated the stump sprouts.
That's one important thing we can't overlook. Once we treat these stump sprouts with the herbicide, we're going to come back next fall, burn it again. Hopefully we'll have the stump sprouts completely under control and have a fantastic bedding area for the wildlife.
It's important to note that all of us are a product of our habitat, and as we improve the habitat for deer and other species, they become healthier and give us all more viewing and hunting opportunities. I hope you have a chance to get outside and enjoy creation this week, but most importantly, take time each day and listen to what the Creator is saying to you. Thanks for watching GrowingDeer.tv.
Good job, Crystal. You got her, baby. Good going. Good job. Good job. Good job, girl. Took me for a ride, I can tell you that much.